Hi and welcome back to my channel. So today I am working with some beautiful natural light, so I thought I would switch up kind of where I film. Usually I am down here in front of my bookshelves and sitting on the floor. Today I thought I'd sit at my desk in front of the window and really just soak in some of that vitamin D. So since we're about halfway through the year, I wanted to reflect on all of the 5-star books that I have read so far in 2022. So prior to today, I hadn't really taken a chance or an opportunity to reflect and look back on how I've really rated things. I rate my books in the moment and then I just am kind of done with them and I don't go back to them. Now with YouTube, I've been probably going back a little bit more, but I thought it would be fun to make a list of everything that I have given a 5-star to. So taking a look at my list here, I have 16 5-star books to share with you. I've talked about a few of these either in my monthly wrap-ups or some of my best books of the year when I did the mid-year freakout tag, but I figured it'd be kind of interesting to put them all together. So I'm going to start with the beginning of the year and come up to current times, and I'm going to kind of be looking back and forth on my Goodreads here if I can give you a little description if I don't quite remember. But starting out right at the beginning of the year, the very first book I gave 5 stars to was It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Not a big shot. Colleen Hoover typically is one of my favorite authors, especially when it comes to romance. I am usually hard on romances, but for her, she usually does a fantastic job at providing those to us. The next one following that one was The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I have loved this series so far. I read book 1, which is just The Inheritance Games, and then actually book 2 will also fall on this list, and that's The Hawthorne Legacy. Benefits of living in an apartment building. You never know what sounds you're gonna get. But so far this series has been fantastic. I cannot wait for the 3rd book to come out. I believe it's gonna be The Final Gambit. And I wouldn't doubt I'm going to give that one a 5-star too. Fingers crossed. The 3rd book this year that I gave 5 stars to was The Woman with the Blue Star by Pam Jenoff. A fantastic World War II story that takes place in the sewers in what was, I believe, apartment living, everybody. But it gives me a chance to look up where this one was located. Okay, so they were hiding in the sewers of Poland. So a completely different side of World War II that I have not experienced thus far, and it was fantastic. I haven't read anything else by Pam Jenoff, but I'm hoping to pick stuff up in the future. The next book, I've talked about this one already, Starfish by Lisa Fipps. Young adult, middle grade, told in verse, a fantastic story of a girl growing up who is on the plus size end and the things that she has to deal with. Very, very powerful. Next up was another Colleen Hoover, Reminders of Him. Fantastic, fantastic story of a woman trying to get her life back on track and, without giving too much away, trying to reconnect with her daughter. And a really powerful story. I'm pretty sure that one made me cry. Like I said before, the one I read after that, or within that next step, would be The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Once again, can't wait for that series. Dial A For Aunties was my next 5-star, and I highly know that the audiobook had something to do with it. I loved hearing the accent of the aunties, and it just helped engross me in the story that much more, and this one had me laughing so much, so that one was definitely a 5-star read for me. The Book of Lost Names by Kristin Harmel. Fantastic World War II. Typically a lot of my historical fiction is going to be World War II that I enjoy reading, and this one was about a woman and a couple different people involved keeping a book of names for children that they were sneaking across borders to make sure that they were safe, and the names were tracked in this book. And that is a very simple description of this novel, but it was so amazing, so good. The next 5-star that I came across was The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This one I was late in the game getting to, but I really enjoyed it. I read this one on audiobook as well, along with the book, and just gave me a completely different perspective on something that I understand that I have students that deal with, but it was a great book to give me that perspective. And then I ended up reading Concrete Rose, which is technically a prequel to The Hate You Give, just from the father's perspective, and I really enjoyed that one as well, although I believe I liked The Hate You Give a little bit more. Another book then that I have talked so much about so far this year was The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This one, once again, on audiobook, is so fantastic because you get those voices of the little characters. So good, made me smile, warmed my heart, and I can't imagine giving it anything but 5 stars. Another one that I've already talked about this year, easily a 5 stars, was Razorblade Tears by S.A. Crosby. Passion and violence all coming together and forming these relationship between these two fathers, searching for redemption and revenge for their sons. Just a fantastic read. I hope to pick up more of S.A. Crosby's books in the future, because he definitely has writing that I would like to get more of. Next so far this year was In My Dreams I Hold the Knife by Ashley Winstead. I love a multi-character, multi-perspective mystery thriller book, and this was exactly that. I can't wait to pick up her other one that I already have, and then I know she's got a new thriller coming out later this year, so highly recommend that one. It was fantastic, kind of a back to college, what happened, who done it kind of story. It was great. Girl 11 was another book that I gave 5 stars to. Obviously, these are all books I gave 5 stars to. I loved the podcast element in this one. Basically, this is based on a serial killer that murdered women by age. So I believe he started at like 21, and then each time he killed the next age down. And in our current timeline, he would be on age 11. And the woman in the story is researching and making a podcast on this serial killer, and things ensue from there. It was fantastic. And if you like audiobooks, which I feel like a lot of these I listen on audio, but they tend to be more atmospheric books. This one pulls in elements of what a podcast would really sound like, and I think that definitely added to it. So clearly I'm seeing a pattern with, I really give 5 stars to those audiobooks that bring that atmosphere in. Next up is The Overnight Guest by Heather Gudenkauf. Once again, a fabulous thriller, snowstorm, based in a house that a murder had already been committed in. You're trying to figure out what's going on. This little boy shows up frozen in the snow, and the main character has to figure out where did he come from, what's happened, as well as you're getting the past timeline of when the people were murdered in the house that she's currently staying in. It was an awesome read, and I highly suggest you pick that one up. And then the very last 2 are ones that I've most recently talked about. I have Unmissing by Minka Kent. This was a book I picked up off of Kindle Unlimited. I really enjoyed that one. 2 different perspectives of a woman that's gone missing, and then her husband's new wife. I know I've talked about that one before, but highly suggest that if you kind of like twists and turns and don't know what to expect. And then most recently, my very last 5 stars so far this year is Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. And this one, again, kind of surrounds around murder, apparently. I've got a lot of 5 stars that surround around that, but a fantastic story to pick up and read if you haven't already. So, out of the, I believe, how many books have I read so far this year? At this current time, I have read 64 books, and so having 16 5 stars is really awesome. I feel really fortunate. I know My 4 stars, probably my highest category after that. I actually have a spreadsheet that I keep it all broken down on, which I can do a video later if anybody's interested. I'd have to look up who I took that spreadsheet from because it was another booktuber and I just can't remember now. But it does help me keep track of everything, and I love that I get the breakdown of those numbers. So hopefully I'll have more 5-star reads in my future. I can't wait to see what else this year those might be. Do you have any 5-star suggestions? List them down below in the comments. Otherwise, like and subscribe. Hit that bell if you need to get notified, and I will see you next time.